All right, guys. I think I am good to go. My stream said that it wasn't really happy at the moment, but I think I'm good now. So let me pop in all of the chat up here. Where's all the chat? Like all of your chit chat that was going on before, I don't have any of it. Looks like everyone is having a good day today, and I don't know why I'm not seeing the chat. Oh, I wonder. Hang on. Hey, there it is. Got it. Aha. Okay. Yay. So glad to see all of you guys out there. Looks like some of you are on an Altenew video, and that you had some winners. So congratulations to you guys. Yay, winning stuff is always awesome. Okay, so I have a few things that I popped into the chat, and let me see how many of these I can actually pin to the top. Okay, so here's today's supplies. And, oh, here. So I can only pin one thing at a time. So the supplies are down below. And I'm going to replace it with this one here because this is the survey, which you guys are probably more interested in. So the survey is for what I'm going to be doing in January, and that is I'm going to be starting virtual classes on my own, kind of through Altenew, because it's going to be with Altenew products, but it's not going to be 100% through Altenew. It's going to be on my own. So I'm going to be doing a virtual class where you'll get to craft with me for 90 minutes live in like a Zoom kind of environment. And then throughout the month during the Running with Scissors, we'll also be using the same stamp set and products to create 4 additional projects. So doing the class gets you an extra set of projects and the PDF for free. So I thought maybe that would be a cool way to have more fun with all of our stamps and stuff. And I'm going to give it a try. So the questions in the survey have to do with that and kind of helping me button up some of the final bits and pieces with that, so I can get to creating and make sure that I have my first one ready to go. And what I hope to have is the first one ready to go at the beginning of December, so you can sign up for it and get all of your products ready to go. And then when we hit January, we'll be ready to hit the ground running. The live class will be at the end of the month, so that you have plenty of time to get the supplies that you need for the class. So more to come on that, but that's what the survey is about this time. And I will be giving away a $15 Altenew gift certificate for doing the survey. So please take a moment to do that. And there's also a coupon in there for PDFs. The PDF from October will be going live in the next week or so. I will have it done by the end of the month. So the coupon will be good through the end of the month if you want to get the October PDF, which was the Wild and Free stamp set. So I just got a little behind on things, and that one had to get put on the back burner, but I'm good to go now. So that will be coming up soon. Okay, so I think we're good to go here. I look like, on my replay over here, I'm looking kind of fuzzy, but everywhere else it says that I look great. So I'm going to go with it. And I'm sure the replay will pull in the full bandwidth. So let's go down to my hand. So what I wanted to share with you guys today is the brand new, oh, totally clear. Thank you, Bridget. Is the brand new Woodless Watercolor Pencils. So these went live like 2 days ago, and we had a hop yesterday with Kathy Rakusin with the Daily Marker for her 11-day coloring challenge. And so I wanted to share with you guys these. So they come in a cute little paper tube, which is a nice little way to store them. And I did a little swatch here, just a quick swatch to keep with these, which I thought was great. So there are 24 watercolor pencils. Now you guys have seen the woodless style before because these are the kind of pencils that I have for my my graphite pencils. They are also woodless. So basically what it is this whole thing, the whole pencil, the outside, the inside, it's all watercolor medium. And then it's got a like a clear lacquer on the outside to keep it from getting on your hands, and then also so that they can get labeled. And so the whole thing is watercolor, which I find exceptionally nice because I've always had a problem with watercolor pencils in the past where they've, like, I don't know if it's because of the wood around them, but I just didn't really get along with them quite well enough, and I wasn't really a fan. But I am a fan of these, and I think it's because they're a little bit on the softer side, so I feel like I can get good color down with them, and I'm not getting like little scrub lines or etch lines or anything from the pencil themselves. So the best way to sharpen these is just with a regular pencil sharpener. They will sharpen just fine with either a little hand sharpener or an electric sharpener. They're just like a regular pencil that has wood around it. You sharpen them the same way. But here's the cool thing. You can save the shavings and use them for painting with. So they'll become like a mix of little chips of color. So you can definitely save those and use them for creative backgrounds and things like that. So we're going to mess around with these a little bit today. And then if we have some time, I want to show you guys Vertigo because it's not a widely available product, but it's really, really cool. It's been around forever from Imagine Crafts. And I did a video on it recently and people were like, wow, I'd never heard of Vertigo. And you know, where can I get it and how do you use it and that kind of thing. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about that if we have some time. So we're not actually going to do a card today. Oh, I guess I should pull out the card that I did. So let me go grab that because it's out here. Okay. So totally should have had that, right? But here is the card that I did. If you saw this out on Instagram, if you saw this out on my blog, Kathy shared this as well on her Instagram. And so these pencils make no line watercoloring like a total breeze. So I used a stencil for this. And it's super simple. So we're going to start with stencils, and then we're also going to do some stamping. I'm going to use the wallpaper flowers. I can't remember what these are called. Wallpaper something or another. It's down below, and some limestone ink to show you some no line watercoloring. And we're going to have fun with that. So, but here's the interesting thing. So I'm using some new watercolor paper. Yeah, so you saw it on my blog. Totally awesome. Okay, so here is some new watercolor paper that I got. I totally splurged on this. It is in the links below. This is rough watercolor paper. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to show you how rough it is. Or, you know, actually, this is how you can see how rough it is. Look at all that good texture in there. You see all that amazing texture? It's because of this paper. So I got this paper from BLICK, and it is Windsor and Newton rough grain 100% cotton watercolor paper. So there you go. And I got the big pad. So this is the 12 by 16. This happens to be in a block. So you have to take like a sharp palette knife or a palette knife and go in from the top here and then cut out a piece because it's glued down on all sides. Okay. It's Windsor and Newton, and it's super rough. There's other brands obviously that do rough paper, but I really wanted to give this a try because I'd had my eye on it for a while. So it's rough. It's got, like, I can't stop touching it because it's got such great texture. And I really think that helps the watercolor pencils to like shine in their best light. So I pulled out a couple of stencils to start with to show you a cool technique with. So Trellis stencil, bubble wrap stencil, color block stencil. You can do this with any of the floral stencils that we have as well, but I thought that the geometrics worked really well for this. So I use, of course, the flowing drops for my card, but any of the geometrics work really, really well. So I've got my stencil here, And there are 24 colors to choose from, and there are some new colors in here. So let's see, new color alert, new color alert. How about, where is it over here? Oolong tea. That's a color we've never heard of before. Shadow Creek. That's a color we've never heard before. I think that's it. Because Sicilian Amber is from the Fall Harvest set, and I think Yellow Ochre is from the Fall Harvest set. But lots of really great colors in here. So I'm glad to have these two in here, the Oolong Tea especially. It's a really nice greeny brown. It's kind of like moss, but you can see that it's got a little bit more brown in it. Okay, so as I'm going through this, questions that you guys might have on the watercolor pencils, just throw them out there and I will answer them as we go. So you can do these in like a Roy G. Biv kind of thing. So let me show you what I did for my card. I just simply outlined the stencil. All right. And if I wanted it to blend into another color, so let's say I'm going to do this in rainbow. I'm going to continue on with heartbeat here, and you see I'm only doing half of it. So I need an orange, so I'm going to pick here, this is orange cream. And I'm just adding the color here. If I think I'm going to need a little bit more, I'll make this line just a little thicker here. But as you can see, I'm not putting a whole lot on here. So then I'm going to go to yellow. So let me just continue on a little bit with the orange here. And then I'm going to do, let's see, what color is this? Is this the one I want? Yes, this is lemon, lemonade. I want fresh lemon. Fresh lemon is actually, no, that's maple yellow. Fresh lemon, here's fresh lemon. So I'm just pulling these in like so. And then I need a green. So I'll come in with that new color, that Shadow Creek. And then a blue. A good blue for this would be probably the Desert Night. It's turquoise. Desert Night's kind of dark. Here it is. And then I need, I'll come in with ultramarine. Oh, and I didn't blend any of that. That's okay. You get the gist. And then I'll finish it off with like lavender field. Where did I do? Okay, so at this point, oh, Shadow Creek is in Green Valley. Well, there you go. Shows you how much I use that set. I wondered, I couldn't remember if it was or not. Okay, so now that I'm done, I can take my stencil off. And there we go, I've got my colors. So you can use water and brushes, you can use a water brush, you can use anything you want. And actually, I think I'll go for a slightly larger brush here. And watch the magic happen. So I'm just bringing my water up to the line here. Let me zoom in on this for you guys so you can see a little better. There we go. All right. And just look at how that grabs the color. The lines just kind of melt away. And there you go. So these first couple here I had just done in the heartbeat color. So they're going to be all the same solid red. And of course, you know, if you're adding in a little more water, then you're going to get a lighter look. And those lines do just kind of melt away. All right, so this next one here is a blend. So I've got the orange here. Oh, look at that color. It's so awesome. All right, and then on the other side, I've got the heartbeat. So I'm going to start from the other side with the heartbeat. And then I'll let them blend in the middle here. All right, so yet another thing you can do with your stencils, right? So Sue, I'm sure you're a fan because I think you're a big stencil person, right? You know how much I love stencils, so yeah. So again, just getting both sides of the color wet, and then I'll come back in with just a little bit of clean water and then let the blending happen. All right, so same thing as you go across, it's basically the same thing. You're going to get one side wet and let that ink start activating. And then come in with a little bit of cleanish water on the other side and get it to activate. All right, look at that yellow, gosh. And then throw some water in between and let them mingle together. All right, so this one is a solid yellow bit here. All right, so let's see, we're gonna have yellow into green. I love the shade of green, it's really pretty. So this means that I should pull out my Green Fields inks and use them more because this shade of green is just awesome. Look at that. When I think of green, that's the shade I think of. And then I love the color that it makes together. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you, Teresa. Hey, did Heidi make it out there? Heidi said she was going to try to join us today. I don't see her. Heidi, if you're out there, let me know. Yeah, so Bridget, these are amazing. And okay, so what's even more amazing is that they're still available. They've been live for 2 days now, and they are still available. So get them now, get them on your wish list, and tell people that you want them to buy them now before they go out of stock. Because these are just way too much fun. Or put them on your own, my own personal Christmas list, you know, buy them for yourself. Merry Christmas to you. Wrap them up and put them in your stocking. Oh, Teresa, you're going to have a blast with these. Absolutely. Okay, so this color is Desert Night. And look at how vibrant the color is. And I just did these outlines. Like, it doesn't take a lot of the pigment. It's kind of reminds me of the brushes that they're so pigmented that you really don't need a whole lot. Okay, so right in this top one here, we're going to go from green to the blue. So this is Shadow Creek to Desert Night. All right, and I'm not being particularly neat about my lines. If I wanted to take more time to be super neat about them, I would. I could, for sure. Oop. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so the next one is just all ultramarine. See, I should have done some blending. So actually, here, watch. I'll pick up some of this and I'll pop it into here. All right, and then the last one is going to go from ultramarine to lavender fields. Yeah, they are really easy to use. So this one, Teresa, if you were joining us late, I just outlined the stencil using the pencils, and now we're just coloring it in, and you can see that they blend super easy. And this is even on a rough watercolor paper, so it's got tons and tons of texture. And there we go. So that was pretty quick and dirty. I didn't do anything super special with that. There you guys go. Yeah, Nancy. So you and I are in the same boat. I've never been happy with watercolor pencils, and then I got these and I was like, yes, these are the ones for me because they work so well. I mean, look at like this one here in particular, like the line is almost gone. If I added a little bit more water to that, I could get rid of the line altogether. But the concept behind this is that it has that geometric pattern. So I do kind of want to see that leftover line, but they really do melt into the paper. I don't have any like scratches or strays or anything like that from like the wood around a regular pencil. So I'm really, really, really happy with these. Okay. So I could even, there's all of this pencil around the edges here. Let's get a little creative for a minute. All right, so I've got all sorts of extra colored pencil around the edges now, and I'm gonna spray it with my water sprayer. And I'm just gonna lay it down on my paper. And we'll see if I get any transfer. Not much. Okay, so that probably could use a little bit of exploration. I mean, there's some on here, but it didn't really come off. It's really stuck around the edges though, so I'd really have to mess around with that a little bit more. But it does clean off, of course, with just a regular towel. And I'll probably clean that off a little better later, so that way I don't accidentally mess it up when I use it next. Okay, so another thought I had, another way that you can use these pencils is wet. So if you wanted to, let's pick out a couple of fun colors. So I've got ruby red and jet black here. And let's do grass field. So kind of like Christmassy colors. And I'm going to pick that color up with my brush. So you can see that I'm getting the color right on my brush there. And it's a nice creamy thick consistency. So I've got another stencil out here. And I'm really just using it kind of for spacing at this point. So something along those lines. I mean, I thought maybe I would color this in again and show you how you could do like geometrics and such, all sorts of different geometrics, but I think you get the gist of it with the first one. All right, so for this technique, I probably would make sure this was down a little more secure than it is right now. But you guys will get the gist. You'll understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, so that was the green. And so you can see that the color is kind of changed on the pencil, and that indicates that it's wet, obviously. So there's that option. There's also the option to use it wet, and that's really going to get a saturated look for sure. That I might do more if I was going to do something mixed media, perhaps. Okay, so then I've got black. And you can see, I mean, these lay down just like any other watercolor would. They're nice and saturated colors. They are not very granular. I mean, except that they're pencil grainy sometimes, but the color itself, when you have it smoothed out, is granular. Not granular, I should say. Then I've got ruby red. And ruby red actually is more of a pinkish red. All right, so something along those lines. All right, so again, once these are wet, let me grab just some silicone here. So just a silicone mat that I can be messy on. When they're wet, I just dipped this right in the water. I can color, scribble, whatever, right on here. Okay, if I add the green, it'll turn into like a yucky brown color, so we won't do that. Let's go for a different red. Ooh, crimson. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my water spritzer. All right, so we can do smushing techniques with our stencils too. All right. And you can do just straight up smushing without a stencil. So I've got my paper here. I've got like ink all over, so give me a second. Okay. So we can do, you're going to want to, well, actually, this is a silicone mat. Can you see that? No, come on. focus? Oh, it doesn't want to focus because of the gray background. But I'm actually able to smear the pencil dry onto my silicone mat. I don't have to get them wet, which is kind of nice. All right, and I'm going to spray. And we'll do some smushing. Now see, though, I did get the lines. So what you could do that would probably be better is to get these wet. And now I'm getting, like, I've got a puddle there, which is good. And let's give that a try. So you can do ink smushing with it too. All right, so lots of fun different techniques that we can be doing with stencils, with ink smushing, all that good stuff. All of it, no line, right? So we don't have any black lines on any of this stuff. Let me back out because I think that's part of the reason why my camera's not happy at the moment. Okay, so we've gone through lots of really cool ways to use the pencils. So the last way I wanted to show you was as like a true no-line watercolor base. And we probably won't get through this whole picture because it's going to take a while. My Wallpaper Art. See, I finally remembered the stamp set. Yeah, absolutely. You could color on a stamp and then stamp. Who did that? I want to say Laura Jane did that for her design for the top. It was really, really, really pretty what she did. Is that gonna work? Yeah, it's gonna work. Okay. So I was thinking, I've got my limestone ink here. Ah, there you go, Paula. Way to multitask with the devices. Okay, so limestone. And I'm picking limestone because it's dark enough for me to see, but not so dark that it's going to interfere with the colors. And here's the thing, I don't care if my lines overlap because I'm going to do some no line watercoloring and then it's just going to melt in. So like these two flowers here have now overlapped and that's okay because I'm going to paint over it and you're never going to see it. Even when I add in, I'm about to add in some of these leaves that don't fit on my block. I don't need all of them. Because I'm going to paint these leaves. So imagine like I could create a whole page with these flowers because I could. I really, really, this is one of my all-time favorite sets. So Paula, Ms. Tam wants me to tell you that you're showing off. All right. So now we can paint, but here's the cool thing about this. Is that, oh, and I got color on color here. So they're wet now, and now the color is transferred from one to the other. So I just need to wipe them off. So some of these are wet, and I'm not going to use the wet ones because I wanted to show a dry technique here. So I'm going to kind of set those guys aside because they're wet. Okay, so I'm going to go for Coral Bliss. Yes. Okay. Here's the thing. You can color this completely dry and then come back in and do it with the wet later. So yes, Sue, this is an Altenew stamp set. It's called Wallpaper Art. And I love it. It has the dies and it also has a mask, I believe, for the flowers and some of the leaves. Love this set. Okay, so now I'm just going to come in and just like we did with the stencil, I'm going around the outside with the pencil. and then coming into these inside areas. And the great thing about this stamp set is that you see it gives you clues about where it should be darker with all of this black in here. And that of course came across as limestone. So I'm just bringing that coral color over it and I'm outlining the leaves here. So if you can color like with a crayon and you can follow a pencil around a line like so, then you can use watercolor pencils to do no line watercoloring. All right. Let's see. Yes, I totally agree. One thing comes off the list, 5 more things get added. Altenew has been on a roll lately with some really amazing things. Their blending brushes are awesome. These are awesome. Okay, so one of the things that I was talking about in a class earlier today is about getting like those little folds and veins and things from a flower. So this is a perfect way to do it, where you've got a little indent in your petal. That's where you want to actually extend your pencil line in a little further. Sometimes you even make like a little V. And that's going to give your petals some more motion. Okay. Oh, Becca, yes, I am pushing you in both of those directions at the same time, right? Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Okay, so do you guys think that you could do at least this part, like to be able to color around the outline like so, and then you just put in a little bit of extra color behind those petals? Okay, so now I got, oops, let me do this one little section here. Okay, so let's say in the center here, I want to do a little bit of blending. Okay, I'm going to grab, this is fresh lemon. So that yellow there. I'm just going to add some in the center here. And it's going to start blending together because we're going to put water on this and it's going to blend them together. And then this orange is orange cream. So I'm not fully coloring this in, just doing little bits of color and not going all the way around. And I'm even going to go in the center here. Now I'm also going to take this orange cream and just go in some of these little valleys here. That's going to blend the coral and the orange together and give it a little bit of a different look. Okay, and then let's see, what do I have? Jet black is really black. Moss. Let me find it. Or oolong tea. Oolong tea would work. Okay, so oolong tea is this kind of brownish green color. I'm actually going to add some of this in very few of these valleys, but a few, to give them more of a dull look. Okay, so now I've got my whole outline done here. I'm just reading some of your comments. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this in a little closer and let's do some magic here. Okay, so I'm gonna swap out for a smaller brush so I can have some control. Okay, and so this is I don't even know what number this is. Oh, this is number 1. So it's not quite the smallest as far as these brushes go. And just go for it. Now I am using, in this case, and I have it down below. Oh, maybe I don't have it down below. I meant to have it down below. This is Bristol Smooth paper. It's not necessarily used for watercolor, but you can, as long as you don't overwork it. So that's kind of the nice thing about doing this with the pencils, is that everything is dry until you add the water to it. So now as I'm adding water, you can see that everything is just kind of melting. It's melting. And because I'm using a small brush, I can get into detail. So if I want to leave a little bit of white behind it, it's easier to do because I have a small brush and I'm not putting a lot of water on it. I'm actually like wiping it off on my finger or wiping it off on my my towel here as I go, because I don't want a whole lot of water. I don't want to flood this. So that was too much. And you can see that you don't need a lot of water to make these pencils move. And that, I think, is one of the biggest keys to these pencils, is that they don't take a lot of water. I've used watercolor pencils before that you need to use massive amounts of water to make all of it melt. And I don't like that, obviously. You can't do a technique like this where you just have a little bit of water, because you always end up seeing the leftover kind of crayony look from the pencil. Look at how gorgeous that is, guys. So all of my colors are already blended together because I mixed those pencils together to begin with. Another thing I like about these is that the color picks up pretty easily. So if you feel like you have too much, I'm able to come back in with my brush, and then I'm wiping it off on my rag if I feel like I have too much. And then I can come back in with clean and continue on. So just because you can get really bold colors with this doesn't mean that you have to. You can also get very subdued colors. All right, so this is the kind of thing where I would stamp a whole bunch of these, and it would probably take me a couple of days to finish this. And there's nothing wrong with that. To have a little bit of a bigger project that maybe you're going to frame or put into a journal or something like that, I think that's a nice alternative to making cards all the time, because this is something that you can keep for yourself. You're making it for yourself. It's something that you feel like you could spend a lot of time on because you know that you're going to keep it and display it, or, you know, put it into your journal and always have it for yourself. And it's something for you. So it's worth taking a little bit of extra time because you know you're not going to throw it away when you get it, right? Who knows what happens to our cards when we send them? We hope that people keep them, but you never know. Okay, let's see. Teresa, I think everybody wants everything. It's always hard to say no to a new product, isn't it? So my rule is always, am I going to get to it this month? If I'm not going to get to it this month, then it goes on my wish list and I look at it again for next month. And if something else catches my eye between now and then they compete and I might get something else, or I might get what I had on my list. So I use that little wish list feature on scrapbook.com if you're familiar with that. My wish list is very long. I go through it every once in a while and I like cull a whole bunch of things that I thought I wanted, but then I ended up getting something else, and you know, that's okay. That's also what the holidays are for too, right? So if you have people get you scrapbook.com gift certificates or Altenew gift certificates or Simon Says Stamp gift certificates, yes, or good old cash. Or if they support your favorite local stockist, if they do gift certificates, that's always a nice way to support a local company too, is to get a gift certificate to a local store. Nancy, that's awesome. She's going to send a pension check to Altenew and then have it drawn on every month. That's hilarious. Do it. You could do that, Nancy. You could buy yourself your own gift certificate and then just draw on it over the months, right? Because if you get a gift certificate, you don't have to use the whole thing in one purchase. You can actually just use part of it. So that's the nice thing about that. The gift codes that you get from me, I believe, is not the same as a gift certificate, but okay, so I feel like this yellow in here is a little too garish. And here's the cool thing. So it's wet. This pencil is dry, but it's working against the wet that's already in there. So I can add these little wisps of watercolor, and I don't even have to do anything to it. I can just leave it like that if I want to. All right, what do you guys think? I think this is pretty awesome. Oh no, Becca. Okay, so again, remember this whole thing is wet right now. So if I want to come in and add some more detail with this, what color is this? Coral Bliss. It's going to be kind of softer, which is nice. Actually, a lot of this is quite dry already. But I can come in as a pencil and add in some more detail, like in those little indents that I was talking about earlier. And just soften up those edges a little bit. So there you go. Now, even with these leaves here, yes, they were stamped solid, but I can take, let's see, I've got Shadow Creek. And I'm going to use Limeade. Maybe even I'll put a little bit of Mountain Mist in there. And just use a damp brush here to activate the color. Yeah. And get those to move around a little bit. Cool. Yeah, so yeah, you take your time, you work at your pace, you enjoy the process. And like I said, if you're making this for yourself, especially, like, let it take a couple of days, let it take a week, let it take however much time it needs to take for you to create something that you're happy with. All right. So like I said, even though these leaves are limestone, as soon as you put that color over it, you're never going to see it. So that starts to look really nice. And what I'm seeing now is that I need to add a little bit of a darker color, like probably that oolong tea again, because it's not black. You want to give this a little bit of a shadow behind here. But with the pencils, this is really great. You can do that. You can add the pencil in and say, okay, that shading I think is going to be good, and then activate it and bring your color in right behind it. right? And that helps give that a little bit more of the shadow behind. Yep, so you can do, honestly, you can do no line watercoloring with any image, because if you're going to use something like limestone, even if it's a solid image, the color that goes over it is really going to cover it truly, and then you're not going to have to worry about seeing those ever again. All right? So don't be afraid to try no line watercoloring with something like that for sure. All right, guys, pretty awesome. So it is like 5 o'clock. We had so much fun with the pencils. But I did want to show you Vertigo because I knew there were some questions on it. So I'm just going to show you real quick. Oh, shoot. And then I also need to share with you. So we are not meeting next week because it is Thanksgiving. And, whoa, wrong way. Move me out. There we go. So we are going to take the week off. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody that celebrates it in the US. Enjoy the week off for everyone else. Watch another one of my videos. Catch up on other things. Okay, so I want to show you Vertigo real quick. So Vertigo, they have some available on Amazon. It's mostly available through imaginecrafts.com. And it is basically flicker stickers. Do you guys remember flicker stickers? So you know that sound, and you get that kind of funky holographic look. So it is a plastic material. And the amazing thing about it is that it can be heated up, and it can be colored. So I've done a couple things with it now. Actually, I have another video that'll be coming out with Imagine Crafts with this material. And so this one I love. This one I think they call it, this is called Rattlesnake. But check that out. Is that really, really cool? And yeah, I know so many people have never seen this. And I think it's because you can't really get it in a lot of places. So it is actually, it's not made by Sukaneko. It's made by Imagine Crafts. But here it says you can cut with a paper trimmer or scissors, which is totally true. You can also run it through a die cutter with dies. And then you can stamp it with StazOn, Memento Luxe, other pigment inks. You can add embossing powder to it. You can do all sorts of things. So one of the things that I did with it that was really cool is I used some StazOn. And these are new StazOn colors, if you didn't know. And let's see, I'm just going to do these two. And then there's also, I don't know if you've ever heard of StazOn pigment, but it is actually like an opaque color version of StazOn. These are generally used for non-porous materials. And this is kind of a non-porous material. And I can put it on here. And I did this like you would do an alcohol ink. So you could use alcohol inks on here too, because StazOn, there's solvent inks. And let me grab this, and I have a junky brush. Oh, where's the junky brush? So I have a junky brush, and this is just 70% isopropyl alcohol. And I'm able to like move it around. You can use the little blower. If you add more alcohol to this, it will move around. The StazOn does. Or you can use your alcohol inks, your re-inkers and things like that. You can use all of that on here. It is very, very cool. So I thought I'd just do like a little blend on here. And it will dry. You can use a heat tool to dry this. Yeah, so like nobody knows what this product is. It's really, really cool though. It's called Vertigo. Okay, and it's got, so we've got, this is like a rattlesnake. There's like this pebble looking material. There is like a stripes pattern. There's a couple other patterns too, but it is all super, super cool. You can add color to it. So then I can also do like StazOn pigment inks, and I didn't get a sponge dauber or anything, but this is just oh, come on. Where do you want to go through? Going through? It's not going through. Okay, I have to get a little sponge dauber. So StazOn pigment is exactly what you think it is. It is a pigment ink. And it's opaque. There we go. So the cool thing is like after I use this, then I can heat set it. It does not warp. If you're just like heating it like you would with embossing powder, it doesn't warp. But you can add really cool textures and colors and layers to it. Can you guys even see that? No, because it's the same, kind of the same color. But it is just the coolest material. So I put some links out there so you guys can check it out. Like I said, there is some available on Amazon. The rest I've seen, of course, is available on the Imagine Crafts website. It's just an interesting little kind of a throwback. Yes, it's totally flat. This is just a flat piece of plasticky material. See? But it has this holographic dimension to it, like an old school flicker sticker, if you know what flicker stickers are. Very popular back in the 80s when I was growing up. So yeah, it's just a really funky material that you can do all sorts of crazy things with. So I've been having a little fun with this, and I thought I would share that with you guys. Anyway, it might pop up again in a, yeah, flicker sticker. Do you know flicker sticker? Yeah, so you can treat it like paper. Like I said, you can heat emboss on it. You can stamp on it. Oh, one of the things I was going to show you. Let me wipe that off a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to stamp on it. You can use either side, okay? But I'm going to I'll use the Bordeaux. I'll grab one of these. I was going to do black, but I don't think I brought my black. No. So I'm going to ink this up. Okay. Yeah, I said I was going to use black because I figured you'd see it a little better. Because the flower is on here, but you guys can't see it. Let me grab my black. Black stays on. You guys are so funny. Okay. So see, I have a flower stamped on there, and then I can, actually you can see it even better on this side. Is that cool? But what I can do now is I can grab, oh, I don't have some markers. And color on it. Like I said, it works just fine with alcohol inks. It's just a crazy, crazy medium. It's really, really funky. So this might make its appearance in an upcoming class. And with the virtual classes that I'm planning on doing, you would get this in your class package if you purchase the package. So you would get like the stamps and the dies, and you would get specialty materials, any of like the paper that we're going to be using and all that kind of stuff in order to create the project. So let me die cut this. Yes. And I will show you guys what that looks like. die cut. So once it's die cut, so then you have this really cool looking funky thing. Is that cool? Isn't that weird? Ah, you guys are killing me. You are so funny. Okay, so I want you guys to look up Flickr sticker and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like totally kind of a holographic looking thing. It's really, really funky. And if you think it's interesting, I'll try to pop it into one of our upcoming classes and you'll get a sample of it. Anyway, Vertigo, something new and interesting. The links are down below if you guys are interested in checking that out a little bit more. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to share with you now that I have this huge mess going on down here that I need to clean up is December. So we talked about doing a tag and a la this, right? But we're not going to do this for a tag because fall will have already passed. So I have a list. There is a supplies list down in the description. And we're going to do a tag. And it's going to take us, we're going to do it across 2 weeks so that we can talk technique and just have chat and that kind of thing. We're going to use this smaller size. This is the number 8 tag. If they're out of stock at scrapbook.com, you might be able to find them at Simon Says Stamp or another stockist locally, these tags. So this is the ones, oh, excuse me. These are actually the smaller ones. Even though the other ones say they're the small tags, these are actually the smaller of the two. They're the number 8 tags, and I have them in the list. Okay, so we're going to use one of these, and then I've got some little chipboard pieces, so some little mittens and some ornaments. And the reason why I have both of these is because one of them was like running out of stock and it was like a clearance item. And I think it was the mittens, but there were more of the bulbs. So if you're interested and one is run out, get the other one because I'll show you how to use either or. All right. We're going to use this cute little stamp from LDRS Creative, little snow girl. Oh, here she's colored on this side. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do watercolor or artist markers. Actually, you could do both. So whichever you prefer, if you want artist markers or watercolors, I will show you how to do both. And this paper will be the background paper. And a lot of this is going to get covered up with some inks, like these awesome Brilliance inks. These are a Sukaneko item, and they're fantastic. I just did a project with them, and I love them. They are awesome metallic inks. Definitely worth having in your arsenal. They dry pretty fast and they have amazing color. So we will use these. And then I thought for a bit of fun, and this, I guess, I'll try to make this an optional thing in case you don't want to add these, but these are the Tim Holtz light up strings. So I've used the Pear Blossom Press Easy Light sets, which is nice because there's 3 lights in those. But this is a light strand, and when you pull this out, it has a little on-off switch, so we'll make sure that that switch is findable wherever we put it in the design. And look. Ah. So these are multicolor. And we will add these into the project too. All right, so that is the core items. There will be some other like staple items, like maybe some embossing powder and some ink colors, obviously. And either you're going to use artist markers like alcohol markers, Copics, Altenew artist markers, whatever, or watercolor. So you'll have a choice either or. And we'll do this across 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks in December. So the 3rd and the 10th. And then I think that's all we're going to do for December. And then we'll break for the holidays and we'll come back in January. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of extra because we had so much fun with the watercolor pencils. Don't forget about the survey that is pinned to the top. So don't forget about that. Do that. Any of the supplies that I use today are in the links down below, and I really appreciate when you use those because I may get a small commission at no additional cost from you if you use those links because they're affiliate links. So I appreciate that. And then this whole project for December is listed down below as well in a separate description item. And there's like a whole list. As soon as I have like specific colors that I plan on using, I'll add them in, and that'll get you a feel for what colors you need. But yeah, that's it. So the other thing I wanted to mention is hit the subscribe button here for sure. Be following me on YouTube so you don't miss out on anything. But also down in the description, there is a subscribe link to my email newsletter, and that is where I will be putting out more information about this project for December, and then where I'll be putting out more information for the upcoming virtual classes and my new approach. So it's basically taking the stamp focus idea that we've had over the last few months and ramping it up a little bit. So it'll be like stamp focus here still, and then on top of that there will be a private virtual class where we will do additional projects and where you'll get the PDF for free and you'll get all of the products that you need to create everything, and we'll have a great time. So questions, guys. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay, so I'm cycling back. Teresa talking about the Vertigo, and then you put it on a card. Yes, you put it on a card, you use it in multimedia, whatever you want to do. It's a very, very cool thing. Yeah, the 25 days of tags, that is almost over. But yeah, there's a lot of really great ideas out there too. But this is more of a like a home decor kind of tag where you would display it in your home. Okay. And that's it. Okay, so if you guys have any questions between now and then, you can leave questions down in the discussion here. You can always email me, reply back to one of my newsletters or blog post mails that go out, anything like that. You guys can always get in touch with me. For those of you in the United States, I hope you have a fabulous Thanksgiving. Please, please, please be safe. Think about all of the safety protocols that you should have in place before you visit with your family. And have a great turkey day if you're traveling. Be safe too. For everyone else, have a great week. Enjoy the week off. Catch some of my old videos, and I will see you right back here on December 3rd, and we will have fun with this awesome new tag project. So have a great week, guys. Be crafty, and I'll see you later.